walang bench dapat. Yun yung ideal.
Ayun yung idea. Dapat wala kang mabe-bench.
Mm-mm.
Oh, kasi once na meron kang na-bench, ibig sabihin na, siya either yung walang pumapasok na new project.
Welcome to Kaka Computer, where tech meets wit and wisdom.
Yan. Our topic for today is managing IT budgets and resources. In other words, pera to. Pera. Pera
Oh.
ng kaban. Hindi naman pera ng bayan. No? Pera ng kaban lang.
Oo.
Right. So maybe I can ask the first question. No? What are the factors or considerations? Meron ba tayong initial idea of ano yung budget ng isang IT team?
Sige.
Budget IT team. Okay.
So for me, depende kasi on what the company wants to achieve. So most of the time pag pumapasok ako sa CTO, tinatanong ko, ano bang gusto? Especially kapag early stage, let's say bubuo yung palang team. Ano ba yung gusto natin ma-achieve? Ito yung short term, ito long term. Ito yung budget. Ganoon ako. Kaya ba? Tapos ako nabala doon, itong budget no, kaya kong mag-hire na ganito karaming tao, yung position, ganitong seniority, etc. Nasa utak ko na yan. Pero sabihin ko, ito yung budget. Kaya ba? Ganyan. Pag hindi, sige. How about ganito? Kaya? So I'm gauging the appetite din in order for me to execute yung sa vision ng company. So that's how I play it. Ngayon, let's say, existing na siya, tapos medyo late cam ka, mga ganon. Meron silang more or less na budget na allocation. I don't want to shake things up kapag bagong dating ka. Pero after a while, syempre, it's all about like return on investment. Parang, sige, ano ba yung appetite? Appetite pa rin. Ano bang appetite natin in order to achieve that? Up to this much lang. Sige, I'll try to figure out kung paano natin achieve yan, given this budget, so on and so forth. If I need more, I'll just ask more. And if you have like parang napatunayan mo na kaya mo mag-deliver, then mas madali maghingi ng budget. Kasi parang for every dollar na hinihingi mo, ginagawang $4.
May ROI.
May ROI na. Parang consistent to Sige nga, bigyan kita ng bigyan pa kita. Then gagawa ka lang team, tapos paproduce ka, gagawa ka ng team, paproduce ka. Assuming, meron ka ng track record nga na gano'n.
Yeah. I think it makes sense. Iba siya kasi software dev company kami. Then, mainly mga organization din talaga yung client namin. So, nakadepende rin kami doon sa budget nung client. So, normally yan, we try to ask ano ba yung requirements, ano yung timeline nyo for this project, ano ba yung goals nyo for this project. Then, we'll try to come up with a cost estimate na from the labor cost, like ano yung mga tao na kailangan mo. Kailangan mo ng front-end, back-end developer. Then, on top of that, we'll add din yung mga, what we call like, mga mobilization costs, like software subscription, like, are we going to use GitLab ba? Subscribe ba tayo sa GitHub Copilot? Kailangan ba natin ng, let's say, Jira for project management? So, that also, then konting buffer, then it adds up dun sa, para magiging budget nung project. And normally, the project would last for 6 months to 1 year. Then, yun na rin yung parang pinipresent ng client namin sa mga budgeting, budgeting planning nila. Yeah,
Alright.
how about you?
And in terms of budgeting, no, as you mentioned, it really depends on the nature of the company itself. No? If, as you mentioned, kung startup yan, a lot of the startups, or at least tech startups that I know of, are very tech heavy in the beginning.
Correct.
Right? So, your initial goal is to build a platform, right? Build a platform, and that is costly to some extent. Right? Lalo na kung wala kang AWS credits, or wala kang cloud credits, mahal yun, no? Mahal yun. So, baka umabot ng 50%, 60% of the company's runway is on the tech spend. But after 2-3 years, lalo ng 3 years, yung parang medyo either nahulog ka na sa runway mo or nakatawid ka na sa runway mo, in other words, may new investments ka na ganyan, you should try to keep that between 2-30% na lang. Because supposed to be, hindi ka na masyadong heavy on R&D. Now, it's about stabilization, ganyan. Now, if mag-introduce naman tayo ng R&D again, for another reason, then syempre tataas ulit yun, no? Because that R&D hopefully will produce an ROI. If, in my perspective, if you are already a running company, medyo established na, and you're still burning or you're costing the company above 30% to 50%, no, you're taking away profit or sustainability out of the company na. You could be over tech. Masyado kayong magastos sa tech tools, sa tao, or there's a lot of waste involved na sa tech mo.
Agree ako dyan. Especially pag early stage, yun talaga, tech heavy talaga yan. Sometimes I see up to like 80% ng cost nasa engineering kasi nagbebenta, yung founder. Pero
Yeah.
once na, let's say you cross to, let's say, Series A and above, medyo yung budget, medyo nasa pupunta na sa sales or marketing. Yung engineering mo, medyo doon pa rin. It's just that lumalaki yung sales saka marketing side. Kasi nagawa mo na yung yung product eh. It's about selling it over and over again. Pero syempre, at least before the tech winter, if you want to, let's say, cross from A to B, you need to go to a different market or scale some more. Well, actually, more like B2C. You need to go to a different market, mga ganun. So, there's a tendency to keep developing. Nowadays, though, mas important yung profitability kasi you can't just keep raising fund one after the other. So, you need to make sure na profitable ka. So, you need to manage that na, sige, we will grow our engineering department up to this much and sales up to that much. And kailangan match ng revenue, yung burn rate nyo. Otherwise, well, you're losing money.
Yeah.
One part of managing budget, no? Well, managing is one thing, but we know that accidents happen, quote unquote, no? Or unexpected cost happens, no? How do we plan for this? Para ba itong insurance na parang set aside money? Ano yung strategy nyo on unexpected items? Maybe, ano ba expected? Ano ba masample na unexpected? Gusto ko sabihin sana na...
Naiwan mo yung issue to mong...
Pwede. Oh.
Pero iba pwedeng ganun. Pero I think there might be times talaga na there are beyond that, no?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yung hindi mistake. Mistake siya pero
Unexpected niya.
Unexpected lang, oo.
I think sa amin side namin, meron kaming mga parang monitoring in place talaga to make sure na on a weekly basis, monthly basis, meron mga review na ginagawa para sa mga nangyaring expenses. Para makasya kung meron bang nag-spike, meron bang potentially na mag-overrun. So, kudos doon sa finance team namin. Magaling mag-implement ng mga review process. And I think yung pinaka-common na parang lang sa at least sa nature ng business namin kasi nga we build a lot of projects from scratch then based sa client yung mga requirements is sumosobra sa timeline. So, for example, ang forecast mo lang 6 months yung project and then supposedly dapat support and maintenance na after, di ba? Pero inaabot ka ng 7 month, 8 month, nagde-develop pa rin kayo. So, ang laki na nung impact nun sa overall cost of service nyo.
Tama.
So, sa mga ganun, parang we really try to educate yung mga project managers na wag nyo hayaan na magkaroon ng mga scope creep, na out of scope, papasok, tapos may extend yung timeline. We really try to educate them about dun sa ano yung mga kailangan nilang i-consider din in terms of budget for the project na dapat until ganito lang yung expression. Ito yung target natin. So, at the end of the project, dapat ma-meet natin to. So, I think mga ganun yun. Pag may unexpected, normally subject for approval na talaga yan. So, kailangan mag-conduct talaga ng parang incident report. Bakit? Yun nga. Kasi, kailangan mo explain bakit nagkaroon ng overrun. May oversight ka ba? Hindi mo na check. So, normally ganun yung nangyayari sa amin. How about sa inyo?
Hindi ako finance guy, so this is not a financial advice. Pero very interesting yung topic kasi parang there's different angles to it. Let's say for servicing parang kakain sa yung cost of service mo, kakain sa margins mo yun .
Yeah.
Yun.
Oh.
Let's say you're creating a new product. Yun, wala man lang talagang income yun.
Oo.
So kapag yun na-delay, parang medyo hassle talaga yun. Parang gano'n. So you really need to, you need to mitigate the risk talaga and, I don't know, deliver as as small as possible or verify as early as possible para mitigate mo yun. Pero that's more investment kasi. So, mahirap ilagay sa P&L yun eh. Pero let's say you have a running product na ganyan. Tapos let's say may bug ka na introduce. Tapos nag-spike yung usage nyo ng cloud service nyo for whatever reason because sa bug nyo, ganyan. Then ideally, you have some leeway sa budget nyo na doon makakain yun. Otherwise, pilay kayo. Pero not everybody has that leeway. So, pwede makuha mo from other aspects, mag-reallocate ka na lang. Or, yun nga, parang, sige, babawas tayo ng budget for whatever initiative nga para lang ma-afford yun. Pero gusto ko rin yung sinabi mo na kailangan kasi, may constant monitoring eh.
Yeah.
Kasi kapag merong ang ganong oversight, for example, kung 1 week siyang napabayaan, medyo maagapan mo pa yun. Pero kung 3 buwan mo yun, parang,
Nakawala.
ano yun? Ano yan? Wala tayong pera.
Yan. So, at this point, no, I'd like to thank myself. No, just kidding. Guys, Young CTO is a podcast show as well, also available in Spotify and YouTube. I try to do it on a monthly basis. The focus of Young CTO is the personal journey of tech individuals. So, less tech topic in a sense, like hindi tayo nagtuturo on how to do programming or ano yung specific technology, but more about the personal journey of the tech individual who has achieved general success in life. So please do follow and search also Young CTO on Spotify and YouTube.
Ikaw pala yan, no? Favorite ko yan eh.
Oo, lagi yung
Idol ka
pinapanood
ng bata
yan
ako eh.
What should leaders consider when allocating resources to multiple concurrent projects? No, sabay-sabay na to ang projects.
Isang
yung cost.
tao lang. Parang isang dev tapos
Isang
multiple
kaban.
projects.
Pwedeng ganun, no? Like, ano ba? Yeah, I guess, no? Parang
Okay.
yung pera, paano i-shift yung pera in different focuses, I guess.
Well, sa amin, ano siya, I think mas straightforward yata yung sa amin.
Oo.
Kasi nga servicing.
At hindi lang to pera, pwede rin tao, no?
Yeah.
Oo,
So sa amin kasi, very important na lahat ng mga tao mo, dapat deployed talaga sila sa project. Kasi magiging, ano sila yun nga, parang overhead cost nila kapag hindi sila deployed sa project. So ginagawa talaga namin, meron kaming mga resource planning na ginagawa. Pina-forecast na namin ano yung mga makaklose na project, ano yung mga mag-end na project. Then when we allocate resources, we also plot, ganito mag-i-start to. By this time, kailangan mahanapan ko na siya ng project. So,
walang bench dapat. Yun yung ideal.
ayun yung idea. Dapat wala kang mabe-bench. Kasi once na meron kang na-bench, ibig sabihin ano siya either yung walang pumapasok na new project or
May margin ba kayo of acceptable bench time or zero?
meron kaming margin.
Meron.
Oo. Pero I can't.
After text mo sa akin.
Yeah. So, I think sa amin na yun, parang we monitor talaga yung allocation ng mga tao project to project. And then since sa amin, hindi kami nakishare talaga ng mga resources. Kung mag-share man kami, yung mga role lang like QE, BA, PM. Pero developer kasi dedicated talaga sila sa isang project. So, mas nakaka-control namin. And as long as na yung mga project na nakalulose namin is mga long term, like at least 6 months engagement, mas madali siyang i-manage. Kasi yan, for 6 months, you'll have time to find a new project for them. And they can just focus talaga on delivering yung current project na meron sila.
Paano kung specialize yung role? Parang, meron ba kayong, maybe ikaw din, meron ka bang kunwari tao, no, parang sobrang galing niya, or may sobrang specialized yung skill niya at kailangan siya in 2 projects, no? Para paano i-manage yung mga ganun? Parang shared resources, paano naman yun? Kasi pag-aagawan sila, di ba?
Yeah. Sa case namin, ano siya, we also try to control at least parang maximum 3 na nga at least 2 person. Pero depende rin dun sa yung need dun sa role na yun. For example, solutions architect. Solutions architect mainly involved sa design, di ba? Then may mainly support na lang doon sa implementation. So, afford mo yung i-deploy into multiple projects. So, pag gano'n, kailangan mo lang talaga i-monitor yung capacity and make sure mo na parang hindi nag-drop yung quality dahil dineploy mo ng multiple project. So, yeah. I think kailangan mo reset yung ano ba yung work amount needed dun sa isang project. Kayo ba? Paano nyo manage yung mga shared resource nyo?
In terms of tech kasi, at least ngayon, parang nausok sa streamline team yung wala nga share, di ba? Parang bubuo ka ng team, kaya nila gawin lahat.
Yeah.
Hindi lang
pods.
actually tech yon. Let's say kailangan ng sales, marketing. Kung ano kailangan ng team nun to get the job done, lalagay mo sa spot na yon. Pero every now and then, syempre, parang hindi mo maiiwasan na meron kang shared resource. So, if meron kang shared resource, let's say, meron kang 100 devs, pero 3 lang yung infra mo, 3 lang yung cloud mo.
Okay.
So, yun medyo mahirap maging shared resource kasi ma-overutilize yung 3 cloud infra mo. The amount of tickets coming in won't be enough, would be too much for 3 people. So, ideally, you switch it from servicing to enabling. Parang gagawa sila ng tooling or whatever para mag-self-serve. So, let's say architect, for example. Sige, imbis na i-architect ko lahat, gagawa ako ng guidelines para you can architect kasi ako lang mag-review. Parang hindi na natin tatanungin kung mag-SQS ba tayo, RabbitMQ of Kafka. Lagi tayong MQ, for example. Hindi natin tatanungin kung synchronous ba tayo o synchronous. Lagi tayong synchronous. Hindi mo natatanungin kung Python pa tayo, lagi tayong whatever. Gagawa ka na ng guidelines para mag-adhere sila tapos review ko na lang. Pero gano'n. Ngayon, let's say, for example, kailangan talaga kumilos. Then, kailangan mo talaga ma-manage yung capacity. You need to figure out kung how many tickets are coming or work coming in, how many people can actually do the work, and you need to keep it at like say mga 80% utilization. Kailangan mo bantayan yun. Kasi more than that, mababurnout yung tao mo. And more than 100% utilization, wala na, mababurnout talaga. Sabihin mo, nag-OT yung tao mo. So,
Right.
yun.
Speaking of budgets, no, one of the things about budgeting is also time, no. Mayroon tayong pyramid na sinasabi, yung time, no, yung cost, and then yung isa is quality, di ba? Time, cost, quality.
Time, scope, resource.
Resource is part of cost.
Oh, ayun.
Time, cost, quality.
Time, cost, quality. Yung triangle na yun Pag nag-pull ka sa isa, baka ma-sacrifice. Kung sinacrifice mo yung cost mo, nag-hire ka ng less experience, or kulang yung tao mo, baka mag-suffer yung quality or mag-suffer yung time, di ba? Pag sinacrifice mo naman yung time mo, baka naman yung quality, right? Or magbayad ka ng expedite fee, 'di ba? So yun yung balance ng tatlo na to, no? Ano yung strategies nyo on the pull and push of these 3 pillars?
Sige, ako muna.
Go.
Sige. Yung familiar ko is yung time, scope, resource. Time, in your case, time, cost, time, cost, scope. Hindi quality, scope. Quality kasi, lagi sinasabi, sige, sacrifice natin quality to get it out there, ganyan. Pero since like 2014, yung Accelerate Book and Dora, etc. Parang, na if you want to go fast, you need to ensure quality.
Yeah.
Parang ganun. Ngayon, there are times that you could actually sacrifice quality. Let's say, mag-release ka kasi wala ka namang customer
Yeah.
Mag-release ka na walang customer?
Bago pa lang kayo Ano yung risk na mag-release ka? Walang gagamit ng user. Bakit? Ilan ba gumagamit ng system?
Yeah.
Wala namang parang. Yung mga ganun tayong mga trade-off na pwede gawin. Pero let's say medyo running na siya, mga ganyan. If you can enforce quality, mas mabilis talaga makakalabas. So let's say for example, common scenario sa mga tech companies, automated testing. Kung yung QA nyo nagma-manual testing, then iba batch job talaga yung mga testing. Kasi hindi pwedeng pagkatapos ng isang dev, i-full regression ng QA team yun. Hindi pwedeng ganun. Kasi mauubos yung oras sila sa kakaganon.
Yeah.
So iba-batch mo yun para meron silang enough work para mag-regression. So again, queuing theory pa rin yun parang yung sinabi ko kanina shared resource, parang ganun din yun Pero kung fully automated yan, ang bilis ng capacity ng mag-test. So pwede kang labas lang ng labas. So yun. So if you can enforce quality, if you have that engineering maturity to enforce quality, you could actually go faster. Pero you still have to control yung pyramid yan. Control at least 2 of the 3. If you only control one, which is again, a common sin sa engineering. Usually, yung kinokontrol lang natin yung sa tao. Who can do what. Walang pakialam sa scope, walang pakialam sa time, walang pakialam sa quality. Wala, asa ka, nganga ka na lang, parang ganun. So you need to control at least one more lever and then you can get your sanity back.
Yeah. I think sa amin naman in terms of balancing, whenever we try to parang provide costing sa client and even yung timeline, I also look at kung ano yung complexity nung project. Like is this a low complexity lang ba na kaya nang gawin ng junior to mid lang? So ina-assess ko rin kung ano yung resources na kailangan ko for the project para I know rin if I would still meet yung quality na hinahanap ko sa isang project. So yan, sometimes if it's a complex project, I would assign at least one senior, I would assign a technical lead, as in full team talaga, may solutions architect, technical lead. Pero for simple project like could be just a marketing side, I would still assign a solutions architect pero baka at the start lang ng project, then mainly na siya, yung developer na yung mag-handle. So I think tinatry kong i-understand talaga ano yung requirements nung project. And then from there, I try to balance. Kasi pag nilagay mo puro senior, di sobrang mahal nun. So, tinatry kong i-balance out din ano yung mga resources enough for me to meet yung quality standards na we set across all our projects. Yeah.
And that's why may trabaho tayo kasi balancing is a core skill of
Yes.
an IT leader.